Hi, Tom from bkmnutrition.com, and today I want to talk about what to do if you've gone off your diet and overeaten one night or one day, and if you are worried that this is going to ruin your diet efforts. And I want to reassure you that please do not jack in your diet just because you've had one day which has not gone to plan, because that happens to everybody. I used to do diets for bodybuilding competitions, and I used to cheat all the time on my diets. Now those diets were massively extreme type diets where I was restricting myself hugely through the week, and I would binge on the weekend to sort of give myself a cheat day. But I would also have the odd wobble during the week and overeat some calories from a bit of chocolate or whatever during the week. And I still went on to create a great physique and to win a lot of shows. So don't get too upset if you've had a little wobble. And this happens quite a bit with clients I work with. Despite everyone's best efforts and the way we construct their diets to be the foods that they want and to be within certain calorie restrictions but not too extreme, there's always going to be this situation where life gets in the way and you're going to have a little wobble and you're going to overeat a little bit. Now, when those things happen, I generally tend to work with clients and to say, look, it's not a bad thing that this has happened, because we want to make sure that when these things do happen, we then create an if this then scenario to deal with it. So life is not perfect. You're never going to have the perfect run. And when these things pop out, you want to say, right, what has happened to cause that overeating? And in many cases, it's just stress or something to do with the kids, or something to do with their partner or their job or social. Some of these things have caused stress, and that's causing them to have a little bit of less mental strength, and that's causing them to have a wobble. That's what happens in the majority of cases. Their mind is off their focus, and they just end up eating something. And this does happen. You just do it subconsciously. You go, oh, why did I do that? Now I want to assure you that if this does happen, and if you have been following a calorie deficit diet for a number of weeks or a number of days, then the odd wobble is not going to make a difference. And I'm going to tell you why. So when you are doing a calorie deficit diet, normally if you're working with a nutritionist or you've got a calorie calculator from the web or something like that, you will normally have a deficit of 500 calories per day to follow. Now what that means is that your maintenance, let's say your maintenance is 3,000 calories and you're following a calorie deficit of 2,500 calories, well, every day if you're eating to that diet or just under, you're creating a sort of a bank balance or a bank saving of calories of 500, which put you into this deficit, which start the ball rolling in terms of fat loss. Now, every day that you do that, so you're building up 500 on day 1, 1,000 on day 2, 1,500 on day 3, 2,000 day 4, etc., 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 through the course of the weeks. Now, it might be that you give yourself more calories to eat on the weekend. Sometimes I say to my clients, well, why don't we have less calories in the week, and then we can have eat to maintenance on the weekend, so we can have more calories then, or slightly over. And the reason behind this is because you've built up this bank of calories for this deficit. Now the same applies if you have a wobble during the week. Now if you do have a wobble and you overeat, say 500 odd calories, what that means is that basically you've just eaten to maintenance for that day. So that's actually not a bad thing. And I've had a few clients say, well, no, actually it wasn't 500 calories, it was like 1,000 calories, and they're really upset because they think, oh, I've ruined everything. 1,000 calories, a lot of calories. But when you think about it, if you've been eating in a calorie deficit for 2 days and then you overeat by 1,000 calories, well, you've just eaten to maintenance on average. So what's going to happen for those 4 days or 3 days? Well, you just probably stay at the same weight. You probably won't lose any body fat because you've eaten in a deficit and then you've eaten over. So you might be just eating to maintenance. So that's not a bad thing either. Even if you have a massive binge out on the weekend and eat like 3,000 calories over, if you've eaten 500 calorie deficit for 6 days prior, well, that's the 3,000 calories. So actually it doesn't matter that much in terms of the long-term goal. But what happens is that people see this 1,000 calories that they've overeaten and they go, oh, well, it's ruined. What's the point in carrying on? And then the real issue happens because they overeat massively as a sort of well, it's done now, so why not just overeat loads of foods that I like? And that is the trigger to actually gain the body fat. It's not the initial action they've done by overeating, it's the right now I'm really going to go to town on action. Now this obviously doesn't make sense logically when we're discussing it here, but I've been there. you've been there, if you've ever tried to lose weight, it's almost akin to if you drop your phone on the floor and you smashed a little bit of crack on the screen, you go, oh, well, that's actually not damaged it that much, I can probably get it fixed. But let's smash it on the floor just to make sure. And then you dash it on the floor 100 times to make sure it's broken. You know, we wouldn't do that, but we do that with our diets. So don't get too upset. If you have gone over a little bit on your calories, if you've eaten to a calorie deficit for a couple of days beforehand, it's probably just evened out, it's probably just maintenance. Just accept it, move on. These things happen, you know, the overeating happens, you know, life gets in the way, that happens. You're never going to have a perfect day. I always tell my clients to aim for 80% adherence. You know, if they have 8 out of 10 times they've done well, and then twice they've done not so well, that's on average, that's still going to be a benefit. So it's a long process, it's a process that will take time. The more you do it, the more you build up the habits, so you'll have less of these wobbles, because you just go, okay, that's happened, I accept it, no problem, I'm back on it tomorrow, I'm back on it now, whatever. The more you beat yourself up over it, the more it becomes well, I can't let that happen again, because that's the worst thing in the world that's happened. So when it does happen again, it's even more annoying and even more stressful for you. So don't get too caught up on it. Don't get caught up on the fact that you've overeaten a little bit. Those things happen. And you know what you could do is you could go to the gym the next day and go, right, well, now I've fueled my body, I'm going to have an absolutely smashing workout. Or you could go for a run, or you could go for, you know, Peloton class, or whatever you do for exercise. You could do all these things to say, right, well, now I've fueled that exercise and now I'm going to go and really smash it. Not as a punishment, but just as a benefit. You've had more calories, and now you can do more exercise. Now, I just want to say that's not an excuse to overeat because you burn off the calories the next day. That's not really how it works. And if you get into that, you're going to be going, right, I'm going to have a pizza today to do another 200 calories in the gym tomorrow. Don't do that. But if you have overeaten and it's just a one-off, you can then take those extra calories as a sort of a fuel and impetus to, right, I'm going to really hit the gym hard, I'm going to really hit my Peloton work, I'm going to really hit my kettlebell workout. Whatever you're doing at home or at the gym, you can really use it as an excuse to really smash it the next day and get that increased focus. And that's a benefit, you know, then you're turning potentially what's a bad thing into a good thing. So don't beat yourself up too much. I've had this situation hundreds of times with clients before, and it's always the same conversation. And you know, the funny thing is that a lot of people, when they do this overeating, they don't track it. They just say, oh, I've overeaten loads, it's awful. And we go, okay, well, let's just track it. So I've got a fitness tracker app, which I use for my clients, and they put it into them. You can use MyFitnessPal as well. And they put it into there, and when they add it up, they go, actually, that's only about 500-600 calories. I thought it was loads. And then it's the knowledge, the understanding of, well, actually, that's not too bad a thing anyway. I've just added it up, and it's actually, I'm just at maintenance, so that's fine. Knowledge is the key here. If you know how much you've overeaten, then you can weigh it up and say, well, actually, that's not too much of a bad thing. Not knowing is the worst thing. And people go, I don't want to track it because I don't want to see what's happened. But actually, you do need to do that, because you need to understand that this impact is not as big as impact as what you think it is. And unfortunately, people don't do that. They just go, oh, I've had one wobble. That's right, that's it. It's going to overeat for the next 3 or 4 days, and I'll start again on Monday. But that never happens. So, so lesson is, if you overeat, it's probably not a bad thing. It's a one-off. If you're consistent with your diet, it's going to make a minor impact. And if this is you, if you're watching this video because of that, don't stress. Just go on tomorrow, start again, get your diet down. Don't get too stressed about it. Hope that's helped. Hope it's given you some confidence and a bit of a boost, because you're probably feeling bad if you have done that and watched this video. Don't feel bad. Just accept it, move on, and get on with it, and change your life. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, etc., etc. if you did get some value from it, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.